Sally Kohn is back with me. She's a columnist and political commentator for CNN. She's working on a book about hate and due in spring of 2018. Sally, good morning. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, how are you?
All is well. Thank you so much for coming on, and congratulations on your upcoming book.
Yeah, congratulate me if we make it all the way to April. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
You sure got one persistent team, by the way. My credit to your team. They just stay right on me through every time I got the flu, and they were like, "That they all deserve bonuses. They are determined."
You're absolutely right, James and Dylon. I know you talked to Dylon, and he definitely worked hard to get you here, and I appreciate that.
Dylon, not Dylan?
I mean, well, his stage name is Dylon.
Well, okay.
But his birth name is Dylan.
I like Dylon.
Yeah, I do too.
I like that.
You have
What's up?
You have a podcast, State of Resistance.
It's true.
And so, do you respect?
It's not as big as yours yet, but maybe some of your listeners want to come check out the other side.
Yeah. Do you respect President Trump for his toughness and brilliance?
Oh, was there more on that?
No, that's it.
That was the end of the question.
Yes.
Do I respect him for his
toughness and brilliance?
Well, okay. Let me take both parts of that. I don't respect toughness in and of itself, ever. I don't, just like I don't I don't think toughness is a value, right? It is a means to an end. And so the question is toughness called for and productive and strategic in a given moment? And I have not seen his toughness be strategic. I am a little hard pressed when you use the word brilliance and Trump in the same sentence to know exactly what you're referring. Because honest to God, like, even if I supported his agenda, and as you know, I do not.
Right.
I can at least say tactically someone who I don't support their agenda, but who has the political acumen and savvy and sort of strategic restraint and competence to deploy their agenda. I can at least say, hey, look, I can at least say they're competent, even brilliant, whatever, even if I don't support their agenda. But putting the ideology of his goals aside, I'm pretty hard pressed to say that this guy, as president, his performance has been anywhere near brilliant.
Do you respect weakness?
The opposite of strength, or I'm sorry, you didn't use the word strength, did you? You used the word toughness. The opposite of toughness is not necessarily weakness. So, for instance, right, when I was trying to get my kid to sleep last night, I first tried toughness, and it didn't work, right? She just fought back and kept not going to sleep. So then when I tried something different, cajoling in this case, there may have been a little bribery. This is parenting, so I think that's totally okay. But whatever, tried something different. Tried a little humor, tried what we might call child diplomacy. It worked. I wouldn't say I was being weak as a parent because I wasn't being tough. I don't think those two things, certainly not in politics, are diametrically opposed.
Well, there is no gray area. You're either tough or you're weak. And society resents weak people. Even children resent weak parents. And I've noticed that the president, and I'm sure you have too, because of his toughness, he is absolutely driving his opponents nuts. They're like losing it. And they can't outsmart him because he's so brilliant at what he does that they have not seen or experienced this in so many years now that they don't know how to handle it. You would agree to that his opponents are going nuts. They hate the man. They have tried to do whatever they can do to destroy him. Even the Democrats have admitted now that there's nothing there in Russia, and they've been going on and on about that. They don't know how to handle a tough, brilliant man like President Trump. I call him the Great White Hope.
So, no, I'm sorry. I don't agree. And I have to be honest. I'm genuinely surprised. Again, I'm trying to be as generous as I can be. But even if I'm putting aside, and let me be clear, first of all, a little context is important here. On day one of Barack Obama's administration, Republicans in Congress got together and said, we are not going to work with him on anything. Now, already the Democrats have worked with President Trump on more than the Republicans worked on President Obama with. And bear in mind that Republicans and conservative activists and the Tea Party in general were trying to destroy Barack Obama from day one. So if you want to have a throwdown about which side is being more nasty, we can totally do that.
Well, Barack Obama, it's not, they were not against Barack Obama personally, but because he was a weak socialist and he wanted to change the order, of America, the Republicans pretended not to, the right-o Republicans pretended not to want that to happen. And Barack Obama made it known that he was a weak male and by saying that he was the first feminist president. And you got to be weak.
Feminist makes you a weak man.
Because men are not feminist. But I do want to say...
Wait, Jesse, wait. So you aren't against you are against the idea that men and women should have equal opportunities in the workplace and in government and in society. You're against the idea of that men and women should have equal access and equal opportunities. You're against that because that's what it means to be a feminist. So I just want to clarify. You're saying if you're a man who believes that women can do everything that men can do and should get paid for the work they do and can be scientists and can be president even, if you're for that, you're saying you're a weak man?
Really? In theory that maybe, but in practice, that's not what it really means. And I hear a lot of conservative women speaking out against the feminist movement today, and they, as I have seen, hate men. They hate the order of life, so they're going after these jobs and whatever they're doing, not because they really believe that it's a discrimination thing happening, but because they hate men.
Are you listening to yourself? Also, you just said Barack Obama was a weak man for being a feminist. So are you also saying Barack Obama, last I checked, while you may not believe he's a citizen, definitely think he's a man. Therefore, ipso facto, are you arguing to me, Jesse, that Barack Obama hates men?
The one thing
I'm actually trying to say, because I'm losing you here.
Listen, Sally, the one thing I can guarantee you with all that is within me, and that is Obama is a male, but he's not a man, and he hates masculinity.
Oh, good. So wait a second. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Would you find it offensive if I said because Donald Trump has a different vision of America than I do, which is for the most part true, not entirely, but for the most part true. Would you find it offensive if I said because we have a difference of opinion, I think he's not an American? Would you think that's offensive?
No, I would not.
You wouldn't?
No, because I would disagree. I would disagree with that, but you have a right to be wrong, and so I wouldn't take it personally.
Right. No, I'm not saying you take it personally, but in other words, that I don't get to qualify your essence based on disagreements over policies and ideas. In other words, because Barack Obama has a different idea about the role of women in society, that they should be treated equally, than you're not just going to say, all right, man, I disagree with you. You're going to say, he's not a man.
I think
and you're going to turn around and say that the left is being hateful?
All human beings should be treated justly and honestly. But Barack Obama, again, there was nothing, he even said, but there was nothing that stood out to imply, as we see with the Great White Hope, we know that he is a man. He's beyond just being a male, right? But with the fallen Messiah, it was clear that he was a girly man for the entire 8 years. He even admitted that Michelle Obama was his boss. She's the boss. She's my boss.
And so you've never heard conservative men talk about their wives as the boss?
Not. I've heard.
Dude, really? Like, is it? I didn't realize I was stepping back in time when I went on this show. It must be really cool. Like, I'm surprised to see you in those modern clothes because I would think you'd also dress like you were from the 1800s.
I don't hear you never. You don't hear real men saying that. Why is it okay to say that the wife is the boss, but it's not okay to say that the man is the boss?
All right, so let's go there. So does that mean I'm not a real woman? Because I got short hair, I'm, with a woman. I mean, I guess I'm not a real woman then in your book.
Did you say with a woman?
Yeah, I'm a lesbian.
Oh. Well, you can't be. Now, you are a female. That's apparent. But you can't be a real woman and be a lesbian.
You can't?
No.
Wow. All right, man.
So let me ask you about hate. You gave a TED Women talk about love and the problem of hate. What is hate?
Well, as I define it, hate is believing that you or the group of people you belong to is inherently better than some other group of people and discriminating against, demeaning, dehumanizing other people accordingly. I define it pretty broadly because I think we have a big problem with hate. And that, by the way, includes everything from not just, sexism, as we were just alluding to, or homophobia, but also partisanship. It includes Democrats hating on Republicans and Republicans hating on Democrats. Not hating or even debating just civilly their ideas, but really thinking that those others, because of their ideas, are fundamentally less deserving of public space and voice. I think that's hate.
So would you agree with me that anger is hate?
That's an interesting question. Not necessarily always, right? I mean, let's go back to putting my kid to sleep last night. I was very angry at my kid that she was not going to sleep. I did not, however, hate her. So not always, right?
But you were not feeling love for her in those moments when you felt anger toward her. You only felt anger, right?
Of course I was. No, of course I was feeling love.
But the kid wasn't feeling love because, and I'm sure you agree that
Jesse.
In the nature of anger, there is no love. Would you agree?
No, I don't think so. I mean, for instance, I'm not sure what you're getting at, but in addition to refuting your previous example, no, in fact, I was angry at my kid and still loving her. And hopefully being angry in a loving way. I also believe, for instance, there's such a thing as righteous anger. When you look at injustice in the world, when you see someone being treated unfairly, whether it's a kid being bullied or a community of people starving halfway around the world, I feel angry about that.
That's not righteous anger. When you can see injustice and don't resent injustice but deal with it, then anger is not involved. You can see how to deal with it properly. What is love? If anger is love, what is love?
I didn't say anger is love. I said that they're not. I said that they're not the opposites. They're not opposites.
So let me ask, what is love?
Boy, how much time do we have? I mean, there's the love we hopefully feel for our family and our friends. There's self-love, the feeling of deep contentedness in your own place in life. And then there's what Cornel West calls justice, which is love done in public, which I believe is a kind of love. Loving your fellow human beings, wanting to see them not overdosing on opioids, not working 3 jobs and unable to feed their families, not able to send their kids to college, or I think to me, that's a kind of public love, an ethic of love.
But the love you just named is not real love. Love is...
Oh, I didn't realize you were the arbiter. Okay, go ahead.
Love is not hating, not being angry. When you don't have anger, then you have love. You can't have You can only have one or the other. And so when you overcome anger, when you don't have that at all, you have love. And it's not an emotion. You can't taste it, touch it, or see it. You live by it. It guides your life. But others around you can see it because within you there is no darkness. You only have love.
We can disagree. I'm okay with that. I hope you are. And second of all, what do you think it means? Do you think that societies love their people? Do you think, what does it look like for a nation, for this nation, to love its people?
Well, you know, I see it. I mean, it's right in front of our faces today, in that the people on the left, and including the rhino Republicans, you can see that they have no love for President Trump, the great white hope. They have only hate. They have no love. And in that fallen state of anger, it's driving them nuts. It makes them do and say crazy things. But then the folks who have the love of the president, you can see this love coming through them, not only for the president, but for the country. Would you agree with me that...
That's not what I asked. I asked, what does it look like for a country to love its people? Because, see, for instance, I look at the fact that I know people, and I know we all know people who are working 3 jobs, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, haven't seen their wages go up in years.
Oh, I got what you're asking me, yeah.
And I look at that and I say, this is not the kind of thing that happens in a country that loves its people. I look at people overdosing at record rates of opioid addictions throughout rural America. And I say, this is not what happens in a country that loves its people.
Well, let me tell you what it looks like when a country loves its people. You put a big, beautiful wall around the borders to stop the illegal aliens from coming in. You protect the country from radical Islamic terrorism. You put a restraining order or restriction on those countries, a ban on those countries that are allowing their evil ones to come here to kill us. You cut back on taxes for businesses and the rest of the working class people.
All you're describing
is you bring back jobs. You put the country first.
You're describing what happens when a country hates other people, which, fine, we can argue about that.
But how is that hate?
Like, for instance, I'm not keeping my kid. I don't show my love for my kid just by locking my front door, right? I also have to nourish her and nurture her and educate her and support her and help her. And how does a country love its people and do that? I don't
see Sally,
that
you are showing love. You are showing love to your kid by locking the door. You're not leaving the border open so that the enemy can come in and kill her.
Then what?
I'm sorry?
Then what?
Then you provide, you show her how to grow up and take care of herself. You provide her, you become a good example.
By giving money to rich kids down the street?
As the Great White Hope is doing for Americans today. For the first time in the history, well, not in the history, in a long time, maybe since Ronald Reagan, we now have a president who's showing his love for the people by putting the country first.
Some people.
And then fighting off the ones who hate him on the left.
Some people. Have you been to the Canada border? Have you seen that border?
I have.
Because it's very curious to me that we already have a very, very, very strong border at the south. You could swim across. You could swim. I mean, it'd be a little cold, but you could swim from Detroit to Canada. No problem. We don't seem to be worried about that border. How come?
Because most of the illegals are coming from Mexico. That's where our major problem is.
No. You say we need to put a wall around the whole country. How come we're only worried about half of it?
Because the primary problem is coming from Mexico. So we definitely need to deal with that and deal with Canada later. ISIS come from Canada, and they're not just walking across like in drove in the way that they're coming from Mexico and other places.
Not doing that either. Where on earth is your evidence of that? And by the way, can I just ask you a question? Even that, he hasn't done it.
Sally, hold on. When I come back.
I gotta go, man. I gotta go.
I know you do. Yeah, 30 minutes. So I didn't hear your question because of the mix-up.
All right,
We'll have you back. Thank you, Sally.
Yeah, real pleasure.
Appreciate it.